Okay, so step one is just renaming things to the actual name of the objects manually. So I've done that for everything except for these titles here. There we go. And the next thing to decide is actually, I mean, we don't necessarily know if we need all of these mini cards. So which cards are going to get mini cards? Generally speaking, it's going to be the objects with has one relationships. If you are designing a system that has particularly large cards, you could show a has many relationship with, you know, like the top 5 followers of something, for example. I don't know. But here we have a gift. A gift has a person and an item. And so I am gonna, so we say gift person before item, I think. Just like this. I literally don't need to, I'm not trying to do any nice formatting. I'm not trying to decide where things are going to go spatially, just when it comes to what contains what and what goes to what. That's all we're measuring here. I don't think a person needs any gifts showing on it. We could show the next upcoming gift, to be honest. That is possible. I might add that in. And the same with item. But for now, this is mainly what we need. And actually, so I need to add these to the actual list, and not just that single card. Luckily, it's really easy to do in a Dullo, so that's fantastic. And there we have it. So the next step, what did I write down here? So we've decided which cards get mini cards. We've also renamed everything to the right objects, I hope. I think I've caught everything. And so the next is to create a list, which I already showed you how to do. So this is the list we created here, but all you would need to do is group these 3 things. Maybe not even do that, and click Make List. So that's what we have here. And the first thing we're going to do is copy this list and take it to, oh, here's where I haven't renamed it. Hey. So this was gift. Gifts. So I'm saying what, like, this is where I label what the object is. This is for us. This isn't because we're going to design it this way, or because it's going to look this way. Top level list is probably going to be whatever we chose. Gifting calendar. Well, I'm not sure I'm going to create a calendar looking thing. We'll see what we think of that top level list name as we go on. Maybe I can create a calendar looking thing. I was calling this library. I don't know if that's actually that useful. And, oh no, that's a person. So this would be contacts or people. So this essentially allows us to, you know, try out whether we like the name of the top level lists. And library items. And we go to gifts and we paste our list. And I'm just gonna, anywhere will do. Whoop. Something like that. And I'm going to do this for one object and then I'll do the others. So what we need to do now is we've got the top level list, and now I need to link this to, so first I need to say, what is this a list of? Because actually all of this, the only thing this is right now, even though we've written gift and person and item inside it in those labels, all it is right now is a bunch of components put together into a group and then made into something that can be several of them. But they're not actually hooked up to anything in the database yet. I mean, this is exactly what we were talking about in Orca, right? This is the packaging only. And now we're going to hook it up to the actual objects, or things that have value to the user. So what is this a list of? Is a great question. It's a list of gifts. And I might sort them by, this is already telling me that I probably want to split between gifts in the past and gifts that are coming up. But if it's gifts that are coming up, then date would actually be oldest to newest, because the newest ones in the future would be the most distant in the future. So I'll think about that later, but that's a little reminder for myself. So I'd be using that filter and saying when gosh, this is good, isn't it? When gift status is not equal to, is not equal to past or planned or whatever it's going to be. So we have that. The only thing is, that's saying that is a gift, so that's great. What that means is, and this is the little cheat that I'm going to do. So to avoid having to log in and to navigate through the homepage and things, as we're testing, as we're building, which we need to be doing frequently, I am just going to pretty much just grab whatever screen I'm on and say, this is the welcome screen. So we're going to go straight there when I hit preview. Ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. There we are. So here's a list of gifts. It doesn't look like they're representing anything because I haven't actually got any of the properties inside of the gift to render on the screen. But trust me when I say that this is working, because otherwise it wouldn't actually show any. So, yes, the next thing I can do is go into here, and I don't know what that is. And for name, we say current gift, because it knows this is a list of gifts. And we say name. Name was that thing that I was talking about. I'm not sure exactly what we want to do with, but I've created some instances with something that I think might be useful to display. So we're trying that out. That's all we need. I'm not going to add any more information, because as soon as I start adding more information, then we're technically displaying attributes, and that's a no-no at this point. We do not need to worry about that yet, which is actually fantastic. So that should be enough. And we're also not worrying about what text fits where and what looks ugly or not, because again, we're not actually talking about what shape this is going to have. We're just making sure that it all connects and it all makes sense. So if it looks a bit funky, you can fix it if you want, but it's not the point of this. So this looks great. I can't click on any of these because we haven't assigned any actions to anything. So now I'm going to go to add action. I've got the list selected, and I'm going to say link to. Oh, I haven't renamed my screens. I'm going to do that really quickly because it'll make us feel better, will I? Yeah, we will like it. Welcome back. So I've renamed these screens. I've got top level list, and you don't need to name them after what they are. It's just really illustrative for me. I like the guideposts. So I've got the top level list for gifts, people, and items, and then the detail for gift. Person, that should be person. Excuse me. There we go. Okay, and now, let's just rewind. Doesn't go anywhere. We want to create an action. We click on action. We have the list selected, and we link to detail, gift. And you can pick whatever transition you want. I'm actually just going to be really fun, and because we are essentially debugging it, I'm going to see if I can get the movement to go in the direction that my screens are laid out in, which is definitely not what you'd want for your users. Again, this is for us. So, should I be slide up, wouldn't it? Go down to the gift page. This is just a fun way of debugging things. And we're sending this data to the detail page. And this is why I haven't designed the detail page yet, because the detail page has not had access to this information until I've created this link. It's just a particular way that Adalo works. It's quite nice. So now we're on the detail page for gift. I can actually see here, available data, current gift. And so I can go into here, and I don't know what that is, I'm sorry. We can go into current gift and grab the name. And that's all we need to do. Again, because we're not putting any attributes in. I know, it looks like we've got this whole page. It's going to look weird and blank. Give it a minute. But I've also added this backlink to take us back to the top level list page. That doesn't particularly do anything clever. That just is what it is. But we don't have to do anything there. So even though it feels like there's plenty more that we can do, and before I click test again, I'm gonna click test again. Deal with it. Every single time I pass data from one screen to another, I'm gonna run preview and I'm gonna test it. Fantastic. I'll go back. It's Martin's birthday. Fantastic. Okay, this feels good. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add the other lists, and I'm not going to bore you with it. So see you in a very small amount of time. Okay, I've just brought over a list of people. I've selected people. I've connected this name to the current person's name. And now I'm going to link this one as well. So I'm going to link to the detail of a person, and it's going to send that data. And I'm going to slide up again because I have a weird sense of humor. And you can see here now that we have this arrow that was just pointing back because we have this back button here. It is now pointing down as well because it's taking you down to the detail page, which is pretty cool. And that's what we usually draw on the diagrams. So this is working out cool. Great. Things like that. And now we have access to that data on this page. So I am gonna current person name. Boop. Done. And I'm going to do this quickly on camera because I thought maybe you want to have an example where you're speed watching it. I don't know. That's interesting. What I want to sort this by is probably not going to be here just yet. I'll just do price low to high, even though we're not showing price. That's not going to, well, whatever. So this is items, and now I can go in and get the name to display. Current items title, apparently. That's what I've called it, right. And now add action, link, go to the detail page of the item. Huzzah, there you go. And then we go to the detail page for the item, and we go to the name field, and now that's being passed through. You can see it in the little arrow. Well, an arrow is just a link rather than necessarily passing anything through, but you can see we have access to it. Title. And now we can give these all a little test. So we have already done this. Go to the detail page of that. Go back to gifts. Let's go over to people. Select a person, go back to people, select another person, go back to people. And item, homemade jam. Fancy coffee beans. Okay, all of that looks like it's working well. The reason why I want to test this every step of the way is because it is going to start getting complicated about what data might be available on any given screen. That's just what you have to do in order to create really good contextual navigation. It's just going to happen. So the next thing that I want to do is, we've done the magic test, we've done the magic text, we've linked to the detail page, we've tested it. So now we want to do it also, and this is an option, you don't have to. You can do it for the mini cards. So sometimes you want the mini cards to actually take someone, if you tap on the mini card within the card, to take them to the detail page of what the mini card is representing rather than what the card that's containing it is representing. And that's something that you have to really feel out to see what feels right. But also, I just realized what I forgot is, with the mini cards, I forgot to actually populate them, didn't I? Because this just says instance when we test it. So the cool thing here is that with this text, we have access within this list to a current gift, right? Which is whatever item in the list it is. And that has one relationship with person. So I can immediately get the person from that and say, this should be the person's name. Poop. And this should be the current gifts items title. And that should be that. That should work. I'm going to do 2 steps here, and I'm also going to add the action. So this is going to take us to the person detail screen. Believe it or not. Because so what we're now sending through to the detail page for person is the current gift, which within it has exactly 1 instance of a person, because it has 1 relationship. And so that's getting passed through as well. And so even though it looks like we now have something that's not available, it's actually available within the current gift. So this is not a warning we need to worry about. I'm going to do my weird funky. I'm going to regret having set this up now because I have to do it for all of them. And yes, I need to do it for this as well. So when we click here, we're going to go to the item detail page, and just the same as before. It contains exactly 1 item. So current gift is actually just as information rich, if not slightly more, than current item. And that should be populating the information fine. So here we had, you know, if you're looking at the arrows, we have this list was going down to this detail page, this list going down there, and that list going down there. Now we also have this cross-linking with our mini cards that's taking people to... Did I just send that to person page? No, detail item. Okay. Oh, there it is. It's going its own funky direction. I see it. Okay, so now let's test that out. So looking at the gifts, these are now populated. I did create someone who doesn't have an item. There's a gift without an actual item from the library, because maybe someone wants to enter a gift that they're giving someone without having to add that item to their library. It's just like a small little thing, and they just want the same reminder that they get with all the other gifts that they plan. So that's an empty state that I'm going to have to deal with. But all of this looks right. So if I click on that, that's still going to go to that. That's good. Now if I go with this, this is looking good. And because I was going back up to, yes. Well, none of this is wrong. So that's not going to go anywhere. Oh, it's going to go to a blank version. Right, so I need to make sure that that doesn't display at all if there isn't such a thing. And where's the homemade jam? There's the homemade jam. Way! Okay. That's all looking good. So that was the next step. And now we can start building the detail pages. This is the thing that kind of changes what we're creating from a sitemap where you can't go, you can go to the top level lists and you can go down to a detail page, but that's it, to this being properly contextually contextually linked, connected, the contextual navigation thing. We're doing that. And that involves putting stuff in the detail page. And yeah, you thought the detail page was going to be weird and blank without all the attributes, right? But nope, because we're going to have all of these curated lists. So when you're looking at a gift, this is where the object map comes in. When you're looking at a gift, you've got 1 person it's addressed to and 1 product that's being given. I think I also have some has many. I've left those to phase 2. I'm going to be lazy and not build those. Oh, it's logged me out. One moment. Okay. There we are. So I realize this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into here and I'm going to steal this card. Yoink. This doesn't have any actions attached to it because everything that we were programming is on the list. I could also just go down here and grab, it's the same thing. I'll grab that. And we are now on the gift page. The gift has 1 person and 1 item. This is a has one, so I'm using the cards rather than the list. Can't use the list. Maybe in future versions you can, but in this version you can't, because essentially when there's a has one relationship, you'll see here, the name of this item, I'm going to go to current gift, because that was passed to us from the top level list in order to get here. We're going to grab the current gift items title, just like we did before with the mini card. And the reason that, essentially, the reason why we're doing it like this rather than with a list of one item is because I think Adalo's doing something where it sort of treats has one relationships like it's sort of flattened. It flattens it into the object that it contains. It doesn't completely flatten it. I mean, we've got these menus and things, but I think that's why you can't add a list. It doesn't matter. It's just a way to use a particular platform. Name. Person name. Cool. And we could at this point add more lists down here of like, oh, gifts like this gift. I'm feeling a little bit lazy. And of course, before we do anything, we need to test this out. So we're going to link this to the item detail page. I guess we'll slide left for that. It's going to send this data to the detail item screen, which it's already used to receiving from this top level list. So that's not changing anything over there. And then we're going to do the same thing with person, detail person over there. Current gift. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Cool. So I'm doing all this without a back button. We haven't added a back button yet. So that'll be interesting. But let's go into this gift. Is that right? Was it feta cheesecakes for Felicity? That sounds about right. I added some alliteration there to help me sense check things. And if I go to the person page, it takes me to the person page. Can't go back, of course. I have to go up and around because we're not done here. And if I go to, yeah, perfect. Okay, this is all working. And now we're going to add nested lists. So we're going to grab a list of something. So a person is going to have many gifts coming up. So we're going to grab a list of gifts. Yoink. Ooh, that colour doesn't go that well. In fact, shall I just grab them from there? Because they already have... one second. Yeah. I think this should be okay. So if I delete this and I grab this guy, I'm hoping this is going to work. It's going to take me to the detailed gift page and it's populating them. It's just a list of gifts. It's not using any of the data that's being passed through this yet. I'll add a filter in a moment. I just want to check that I'm not breaking anything. So we just added that to the person page. Can I see a list of gifts? Yes. Just like before. And these are all of the gifts. So now we need to filter this so that the gifts are, in fact, current person gifts. And the reason we can do that is because this has had a current person being passed to it whenever we access this page. We haven't broken that yet from any of the ways that we can get into this page. So if I preview now, it should be Felicity. There we are, just the gifts for Felicity. And I'm going to do that again. I'm going to go back up here because I don't know. And that's going to be current item gifts. And so if I then click into an item, like feta cheese, that has exactly one gift for it. I don't think I actually have any items that I'm giving more than once. That's something I should probably put into my instances to check out how that looks. But there we have it. Now that's all interconnected. Is there anything I'm missing? So we can name these lists. That always helps. These may or may not be the names that you want to give in the interface, but, you know, it's helpful for us as we're building this. In fact, I don't even have to say for this person, because it's not a diagram. I can literally add this in, person's name. Woo! I'm very easily excited by small things, so just bear with me. This is not person name, this is going to be, so it's gifts of an item, maybe. Item title. There we go. And this doesn't need a list, these are 2 individual cards, so we could give them a label each. You know, who it is for, what it is of, that kind of thing. I want to test this out. It is really enjoyable for me to make a diagram come to life, so you'll have to excuse me for gifts for Felicity. Yes, we nailed it. Okay, that's our NavFlow. Now it all works, and we can hopefully just endlessly navigate forward in this. So you never have to necessarily go back to the home page or start menu. We're just always going. I haven't left Ham, have I? Marbles. There we are. It just makes a bit more sense. And you can see we're not getting a lot. We're not able to really go very far, because you might want to add a list that says, like, other people who might like the same things as Martin likes, or something else that allows you to find more instances and doesn't just narrow you down. And so you can add a second nested list, but this video is getting quite long already, so I'm going to leave it there. But you just literally, I mean, you could say, okay, let's just do it. Let's just do this. I'm not gonna filter it or anything. But if I add this here, do just more gifts. And I'm not going to filter it at all. And so it's perfectly normal, if not recommended, to have more than one nested list. It doesn't, you know, it can be quite far down when you scroll. Okay, this hasn't populated properly. Maybe that's because it's the same object. I'll work that out and come back to you. But generally, I mean, you can do this. If I add this to here, for example. Sorry, one moment. I can't even pause it because I'm in the middle of a Control-Z tunnel. Okay. So we could go to a person now and see gifts for Felicity, and then also under it, all of these other gifts also not showing up correctly. I think this is maybe just a bug. Yes, okay. So all we need to do is we just need to go in here, and sometimes you just need to replace this again. So it would be current gifts, name, things like that. But yeah, here you have it. Here's a NavFlow, and now you can start thinking about what you might want on your homepage or any other curated pages that you're going to put together. But this is the bedrock. Now everything's connected. We get to finally think about how we want our mini cards, our cards, and our list to look, which is the last step of creating these building blocks from the Orca process.